5 o'clock, we're gonna call this meeting to order, meeting with the tax appraiser office. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for another opportunity that we have to come together to discuss county business. And Lord, we pray that you might just be in the midst of this meeting. Let your will be done, Lord, that we put ourselves out of the way and let it be done in a way that the county would fare in a better way. We ask you to lead, God, directed, have your will and your way in it. For it's in the name of Jesus we do humbly pray. Amen.
Amen.
All righty then. I guess the purpose of tonight is to go over the different contracts and for you all to have the opportunity to get any questions answered that you may have on the contract from GMAS. Make sure that you all have copies of it. And Carla has a copy of it already.
If I gotta go?
Who doesn't have one?
I do, or he.
Basically, it's the same continuation of contract that we had last year. The dollars on it are slightly different. As you will see on the last page of it. Just to fill you in on some history, going back as far as we can find, since 1996, the county has always had additional third-party help in doing mass appraisals, handling appeals, etc. And that was at times when we had a chief appraiser and 2 level 2s in the office. Currently, we have 1 level 3, Ms. Yon, who is our chief appraiser, and Heather Merritt, who is working towards her level 1. And we've got many who work part-time answering the phones. GMAS has in the past done a good job for us. See no reason why they would not continue to do that job for us. There were questions as to, well, have you looked at other firms? The answer is yes, and without a doubt they are the best qualified and the best priced for the county.
Do you have a list of them firms?
Yes, sir. As you will see, there's quite a significant difference in the dollars. The first one I gave you is for 1 year, and you've got that number in front of you.
Are these numbers different from the original contract? They look the same to me.
They are the same.
What's those different?
These are different. What I'm talking about, the one that we currently have, they're slightly different than the one that we're currently working on. or were working on it, I should say. I guess the best thing to do is see what questions you gentlemen have. Ms. Reese is here from GMAS along with Terry McCormick, and they will be happy to explain to you what they do for us, how they do it, and answer any questions that you may have. Mr. Thomas, you were at our meeting, and so this will be a repeat for you.
Yes.
But if any of the other gentlemen have questions, they would be happy to answer them.
Do y'all have any questions?
It said that the letter here from the technical appraiser said in order to complete the maintenance and the reevaluation work that you requested, what did you request in there?
Basically, what we have coming up this year, which is industrials and a third of the county.
When you said a third of the county, that's residential.
Well, I don't know, I can't remember if residential comes up this year. I know industrial comes up this year and commercial comes up this year. I think that's the primary part of it for this year.
No, totally through with the farmland,
Yes, sir.
With the schedules, yes, sir.
with the schedule.
Mhm.
So these other two bids are all apples to apples, the same exact services, pretty much?
Yes.
Is what they're offering?
Basically, yes. Yes. And the county attorney has a copy of the GMAS contract. Since the other two are primarily just proposals, I didn't really think that there was anything that she needed to sign off on.
So I had you all first,
As far as the Board of Assessors is concerned, we would ask that the county commission sign the GMAS contract for the next 3 years.
Mr. Cobb, you asked earlier if the contract would change, and there was one item we did
Yes,
change
that's
about the renewable term. That it was
That it's
renewable at
renewable
the end of year
the first
one,
year.
because we were under the impression you were concerned about a multiple year contract. And there's also a clause in there that either party, either GMAS or the county can terminate the contract with a 30-day agreement on either party. So there's a couple of ways out if the county thought our work was not satisfactory.
Why does it go up so much 3rd year?
That's the year we do the schedules. We don't
We've
do.
always done that in the past.
Yes, sir. Mhm. Yes, we do the reviews in the first 2 and 3 years, and then in the 3rd year, we'll also update the schedules. So we usually check a third, and a third of the property, so that every 3 years, everything gets checked.
Which is what the state recommends.
And this includes industrials as well?
It's all properties.
It's all property.
all real property.
Yeah, that's right.
On what?
All real property, not personal.
Not personal, northern mobile home, but I just, he
separate classes.
How much actual field time does this take?
For him to check, was it about 2,000 parcels a year? It's about 4 months.
4 months, and how many people?
One person out in the field, but that's every day.
Every day, all day?
Yes, sir.
One of the advantages to using a third party is that we don't have to worry about their certification. We don't have to be worried about their sick time. We don't have to be worried anything like that. They make sure that they're certified by the state to do what they're doing. If they have 3 people quit, they got to find them and they've got to take care of the work. If we have 2 people quit or what have you, we don't have to stress over that, getting it done on time. They have been, what they saved us from last year's appeals on the 3 apartment buildings that were appealed last year, more than covered their contract for last year. For the simple reason that they have worked with those apartment owners, third-party owners in other counties and in other areas. So when they brought that to the table, they already knew what was going on in those other counties, where in-house, we wouldn't have a clue what had happened in other counties. They also will help to defend and all of the appeals that go to the EOB every year and so on. Personal property is a whole different ballgame, especially when you get into industrial. And that's something that we want to address in next year's budget. Because when you start getting into life of equipment, specific pieces of equipment and so on, that's a whole different ballgame. That's, you're talking primarily, from what I understand, mainly CPAs or things like that will go in and assess what that equipment is worth. Telfair County currently has 2 contractors working for them. GMAS does their real property, and Mendola and Associates do their personal property, and that's all Mendola does, is personal property. He is completely specialized that he will only do personal property.
Greg, in the state of Georgia, at all the counties, how many, it's got a outside firm that comes in like y'all do, probably over the state of Georgia? Their chief appraiser does it?
Yeah, probably at least a third. We're at 16 counties or so.
You're at 16? So probably around a third.
I'm estimating that.
I would think it's probably more than a third from what I've seen.
I would think so. A lot of the, especially the metro counties in Atlanta, which we don't work in all of them, we work in one of them, but all of those have outside firms. So I would think that number would go up, you know, closer, probably to half.
That's what I'm thinking.
So if we hire them to do
Yes.
this, or does this mean we're not gonna do any
So
assessment?
we will do certain things, certain parts of it, but as far as the
Well,
bulk.
they said they're gonna do a third a year, so that.
Yes, but there's always new properties that show up each year and questions that come up each year and other things that we will take care of in-house. But as far as the mass appraisals go and the schedules go and things like that, they will be doing most of that. It doesn't mean when they do it that we don't have to go through it.
Our office reviews all of it and questions anything we think that's in question.
Anybody got any other questions?
When you say that we review it, or if a new house is built, are we gonna go out and appraise a new house, or are they going to appraise it when they come back? Who will appraise the new house?
A lot's going to depend on when it's built and what time of the year it falls into the If they have already done it, then we will do it. If they haven't been out yet, we will go do it.
I would say over the past 3 years, though, we've done the majority of new construction, because Kathy just saves that. And we do that as an extra on top of the contract. We come back and pick up all the new construction, or at least this last 3 years we have.
How'd they do it when you built your house, Wayne? You were on the board.
I'm not building my house.
Huh?
When I built my house,
Yeah.
the GMAS, I think was one that came by and, you know, took the pictures and
Think so.
done
So all appeals though will be over and above what the contract price is.
That's all.
It says appeal assistance,
No, bills is
550.
extra.
Appeals are extra. What is it?
$5.50 a day.
550.
And by the way, you can go back and look, we've never charged for the
No, you
extra
haven't.
days. We've always thrown that in too.
There's so many days included in the contract.
But what you're saying, it's not in the contract, but y'all never have a charge for it when you came back and done the bills correctly.
No, we threw in like 15 days. And anything over that was, is that what we normally do?
Yeah, well, we never charged.
Yeah, we never charge for
There's never been an
anything.
Yeah.
But you could charge, because, I mean, it's not in the contract that you don't charge it correctly.
Right.
It's not in there that you get 15 days.
I'm looking, but I do not see it.
That's never took more than 3 or 4, has it?
We're unfortunate in that, like some of the other counties around us, we don't have large utilities that can pay the majority of our bills, or large industrial complexes that pay the majority of the bills there either. We're unfortunate from that regard. From a quality of life regard, we're probably very fortunate. Coffee County has 2 full-time outside appraisers. Appling has Mr. Stone,
Who was their level 3 and they have a level 2.
right, and until, at the point that he retires, it's going to be interesting to see what happens down there.
But they don't have any outside besides mapping, do
I don't think they do, I think they just do mapping, but then they weren't even on Q Public up until a year and a half or 2 ago. Mr. Chairman, you have a request from the Board of Assessors to approve the contract. It's my understanding from Robert's Rules of Order that being that it's coming from a standing committee, all you need is a motion, you do not need a second. I would ask that you approve it. Apparently there are no more questions.
Anybody got anything else?
you? We got the money in the budget for it.
Yes, sir.
Well, not on that line item, we don't.
On what, the GMAS line item? Pardon me?
We don't.
We have 30,000 up on, and that goes until the end of June,
Right.
okay? New
So
budget will
here's
begin.
45, we don't have 45.
Well, we've got 30, which will get us through the end of June, is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to start this month. When would you propose that it start? January 1st? Yeah.
You've got about 30,000.
Yes. And that should be, at this rate, it should be about 8.5 months.
say you would start it when?
Can start at the 1st of January. We won't have any field work to do before the 1st of January,
We can wait till then.
so we can wait until then quite easily.
And this budget goes from what, July to July next year?
End of June, this current budget ends. So it will start at the end of 1st of July and go to the end of June of 17.
So it goes from July 1st to June 30th.
Yes, sir.
We have looked at the other contracts, they're way up above. So they asking for a vote, so I need a motion to accept their proposal.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the motion that we accept the vote for GMAS.
All vote in favor of? Two voted, all opposed?
I'm not really opposed, I'm find out a little bit more about
All right, sir.
That's what the question is about.
it. Well, I mean, I just got this contract, everything on it, like it's around here. He says they're not gonna charge $550, but this contract says $550 per person plus expense.
But she said that there was 15 days, right?
It had been in other contracts, but it's not in this one, he's correct on that. That it's not in this one. We can go back and amend it and add the 15 days if that's an issue. What we were saying is we've never charged the county or any appeal assistance. If the commissioners have a problem with GMAS, we would really like to know what it is.
This commissioner knows.
I would like to know what it is too.
I'd like to know what it is too.
We've only been here to try to help Jeff Davis County out. We've never done anything to hurt anybody, to hurt any feelings, to do anything, you know, to anybody in this county. We've only tried to help them out, and anything the assessor's office has asked us, we've done for them.
6 straight years of approved digest with no consent orders too, by the way.
Only problem is a 3-year contract.
Well, you can get on the contract at any term, and I put in there that it's renewable at the end of the first year.
It's on the next, on the back page.
Because I don't believe in the 3rd year, we don't have $70,000 in the budget paid.
That's,
So I can't make promises on.
well, that's very valid, you know, and that's why we added that for you.
That's my problem, is I thought it was just for a 3-year contract. If it's for a 1-year contract, I'm good with it.
Well, it is a 3-year contract, but what we're saying is that at the end of the first year, if nobody's happy, they can end the contract.
So what I'm saying is, I can't tell you that next year, I can tell you.
I understand that.
So I can't vote for a 3-year contract.
Well, okay.
By doing the 3-year contract covers,
Do you know we're gonna have $70,000 for 3
no,
years?
sir, I don't have a
I
clue.
don't either, so I
Right,
can't.
and that's why it has in there that 2 ways to get out of the contract. One is at the end of the first year, and one is on a monthly basis that either party with 30 days written notice can cancel the contract. So that's better than a 1-year contract. That's a 30-day contract, basically.
That's a kicking the can down the road contract.
Pardon me, sir?
That's a kicking the can down the road.
I need my lawyer here. I mean, I need Carter here, or somebody that can tell me if we can sign a 3-year contract and get out of it in 1 year. I don't have any problem. I think GMAS done a great job. I just don't know what the county budget will be next year or the year after.
Where does it say that at any point in time, if any party is not pleased, that they can terminate the contract?
The very last page where it says termination in general.
Termination is there. Okay. It's 30 days.
Okay, if we don't do GMAS, who we gonna do?
Does anybody by any chance have your attorney's cell phone number?
She's up in court, the deputy come while ago, and they got juvenile court,
Okay.
and he come down and
She
said
said
they,
they'd be down a little bit.
so they'd
Okay.
be down in a little
That's
bit,
fine.
but they were still tied up in court.
All right, well, we can hang on until she gets here, and if you have any other questions for the Board of Assessors office, we'll do our best to answer them.
The only thing I would think that I wanted to mention is normally when we would receive these bids, they would be sealed. Would they not?
We didn't
Only
call
you
for
sent out an
bids.
That's,
RFP.
that's up to the
Proposals.
county
Okay.
commission to do that.
Proposal that we're gonna do.
Goes in the RFP.
Have any other questions, anything to do with the Board of Assessors? The big elephant across the hall?
What's the big L?
I don't know. It seems to loom over everything. You know what I'm talking about.
Can we hang loose the car gets here? I mean, I just can't live for 3 years.
Well, we can chill out in here and,
Will they be doing the businesses this year? Like the industries, like Beasley's, will they be, personally, I have to get that.
The inventory in the business would be,
The inventory for Joe, but then the.
but the
what he's
actual
talking about,
business, the
equipment.
building,
that's personal
would be something
property.
they were
That'd be
looking
like,
at.
well, yeah, I was just wondering if they be.
You know, there's, it
What
would
will
sure,
that get done?
it would sure be nice if people did what they were supposed to and filed a return every January. It would certainly make our lives a lot easier over there and know what we're dealing with rather than the seek and you shall find method that we have to work under. You know, it seems like when we find it, then we're the bad guys because, well, it's been there for 20 years. Well, we just found it. You know, I had one gentleman tell me today, well, the house had been there since 2010, but you all only started taxing it in 2014, and you put it in at the NADA value, and it's not worth that. And I said, well, yeah, that might be true, but I said, we have no way of going back to change it. I said, consider it a discount for the 4 years that you didn't pay any taxes on it, because we hadn't found it. You know, something you gentlemen might consider is some type of permitting process. I'm pretty sure the city has a building permit process. If we had some type of a permitting process, it would certainly, first of all, it would generate revenue for the county. That's non-ad valorem tax base, and it would also help us in knowing new construction and new buildings and so on that are going up on properties. You can pick up some of it from satellites. You know, I guess the next thing to come and do is try and buy a drone to fly over locked gates to look for, you know, new buildings, but I don't know what to tell you. It's tough. It wasn't that long ago Georgia required us to accept whatever the property owner put on the parcel as the value. That changed. Mr. Falk, you got any questions for us, sir?
That's all I can think of.
All right, cool, good show. Mr. Hall, you got anything for us, sir?
That's all I got to ask.
We would have to have this rewritten before we can sign anything.
And what is that you want to do?
Well, we would have to have it to state, it's 15 days, I would think, and then the billing would start January the 1st. I mean, before we could actually sign it, you would have to amend that, I guess. I mean, if that's a sticking issue, correct?
Well, about right, I mean, we don't even have the 35,000, where do we think we're gonna come up to 70,000?
Right. Well, I agree, I'm just saying that even if everything was fine, they did not state these couple of things that we mentioned as concerns.
You know, that's why, that's one of the things that we asked them to put in there was that it was renewable at the end of the year. You know, when Mr. Wills was here, his suggestion was that you do a multi-year contract so that you guys can plan ahead. So that's what we're trying to do, is to give you an idea of where we're going down the road. If you look at the other contract, you know, it's, I think 2 years of that will more than cover all 3 years of this. And depending, you'd have to pick the two lowest years. I mean, to be honest with you, when I got those numbers in, my eyebrows kind of went up real high.
My question is for G-Man.
Yes.
There won't be much apprehension left. It ain't no, we can like write a 1-year contract and we come back again in a year and do this.
You can, but a 1-year contract's not gonna do the county any good, because what we're basically gonna do is send us out to check properties, and then that's it. There's gonna be no schedules, no analytical work, no anything but going out and checking the properties. But if that's what you want, that's what we'll give you.
I'm fine with what
Yeah, I
you said.
understand.
It's a 3-year process, and you know, it said third, and third. If you do 1 year and quit, that's like building a 30 house and waiting another year because you don't know if you're out of money. It needs to go together to be able to complete this thing and keep our digest in good standing.
Got a couple of city people in here. Mr. Jack, have you signed a 3-year contract knowing if you had money or not?
Yes, I would.
We'll do it a lot of time, don't we?
Under these circumstances, I would.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
These sorts of
Money
really
don't-
not signing them.
You'll have money coming in right away, I think.
Right, yeah, I know we will this year. I'm just saying, am I gonna have 70,000 in my budget the last year to pay it?
It's really on a 3-year contract in writing, but yeah, it's like she said, anytime you felt like you didn't have the money, you give a 30-day notice and you're out of it. So you're not really signing a 3-year contract per se.
You're signing 30 days.
Good question.
And
Question is, how do you sign lease contracts on motor graders, et cetera? They're all multi-year
Lot of
contracts. Huh?
Not a hope.
All right. Hope and prayer.
Lord,
Well,
bless us.
there's a little difference, because that motor grader, when you sign a contract, it's gonna be the same amount every year. It ain't going up, see,
It's more than 3 years.
but it's the same amount.
Okay.
Money.
We can do you a 5-year contract for a lump sum if you want. But what I'm saying is, this is the way they've always done it. This is the way the county has always done it. Going back to 96, you pull up all of those copies that we gave you already. And it's always been a 3-year contract because it's a cycle, a 3-year cycle that the Department of Revenue recommends. So,
Well, let's do it over again then.
If we can
We
do
can
that.
out in 30 days, I mean, like I say, I just wanna make sure this county can pay that deal. That's bottom line.
When, like RL and them, they go out, him and one of the girls, he's a 3 and she's a 2. And they'll take pictures and they'll appraise stuff, and they'll come back in the office that evening and they'll load that stuff in. Am I understanding you correctly that y'all gonna go and compile this on 1/3 of the county the first year? But it's not gonna be loaded in that year.
The only thing that I think they add is unreturned property. So any depreciation or grade changes don't get entered. But if they find something in the county that needs to be added, then they will add it. But that's the only thing.
Anything that's new.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah. Anything that's unreturned or new.
So then, what y'all do, starting January of 2016,
There shouldn't be any grade changes. The only thing that might change would be some depreciation, maybe where somebody had remodeled a house, but that would then wait until year 3, if I'm not, that's what you do. But it would wait until that 3rd year to go on.
I built some apartments 3 years ago, and y'all came by and graded them and put them on the book. And then I filed an appeal because they went up, and I hadn't done anything in 3 years to them. Said that to solve some of the concrete cut. And so, and I hadn't even
3-year cycle means that we do residential 1 year, commercial 1 year, and industrial the next year. So the commercial properties got hit with a schedule change this year for 15. We can't do it third, and third, because that means that.
All right, so when you do the third, you're gonna do all homes.
All classes of property. The residential 1 year, the commercial 1 year, and the industrial 1 year.
And that's schedules.
That's on, yes.
Okay, let me ask you a question on farmland.
Mhm.
The way everything's looking right now, according to the magazines I read, all farmland nationwide is gonna drop 30% over the next 5 years.
Well, the
What
sales
else is
approve,
there?
the sales approve that.
Okay.
If that happens, then we'll have to come back.
Okay, we bought this piece of property 3 years ago, and it just got appraised, we ain't done not one thing to it, it's $44,000 on 141 acres, we divided, me and my 2 sons bought it, the 2 sons and I, they 424 acres. Each tract went up, I think, like $44,000.
Did you buy it all in one tract?
We had it all in one tract, and we
Did
divided
you
it out.
split it? Well, the smaller the acreage, the higher dollar per acre it's gonna be, so if you
Well,
separate out something like that.
Well, I
it's gonna
guarantee you
go
it
up.
won't bring more than I paid for it right now, it'll bring less than I paid for it.
Well, according to the sales that we used in Jeff Davis County, just, the actual farmland is still low from what we were looking at, from all the sales that occurred in the county. The typical, land should be about $1,600 an acre, average land, that's from all the sales that we analyzed.
Do you have it under conservation use? Land, because that's all valued by the state anyway. Don't matter what fair market value we put on it, it's only what the conservation use value
It
is.
can go up 3% per year.
That's right. But that's legislative, that doesn't have anything to do with us.
We don't have any control over what the state does, other than once every 4 years.
Well, it says when you sign covenant, it's going up 3%.
3% a year.
They notify us in August, isn't it?
That's right.
They notify us in August how much land in conservation is going up for that year. And we don't have a choice.
I understand that. I understand that, I did that. So I don't understand how that land went up, we had done one thing to it.
Based on comparables.
I'm gonna make a motion to rescind the previous vote and to revote.
So we go again.
We got the contract, right?
You want to amend the contract, she said.
You want to add the 15 days?
Yes, ma'am.
And the billing starts in January 20.
Okay.
16.
Is there anything in there?
And that billing will be 45 divided by 12.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
I make a motion that we accept